to get ready in the interest of time, so let us begin. And as a reminder, we record these every month, so you can go back and you can review. This month, welcome. We're in the heart of the summer now, finally. Vacation vibes. Apparently in Deer Valley, it's a little warm, so summer is a definite. Sometimes it's a tentative this time of the year in ski towns. So I'm wondering how it is in Steamboat. We have some people with us here from Moving Mountains in Steamboat Springs as well. Welcome to all of you. If you do have a microphone today, it's probably a good idea to have that on because we will have a...
Yeah.
Hey. Hello.
Hello.
How are you, Gardner?
We are good. We're also dealing with the heat, so we're not alone.
I love how we all think it's that 80 is warm, and poor Yolanda is at 107.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be mid to high 90s here today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, pretty hot. Hot stuff.
Getting close.
No
Getting
humidity.
close.
No humidity.
No humidity. Yep.
Oh, well done.
David, are you feeling better yet?
Yeah, that helps me feel better. Thank you.
No problem, buddy. We got you covered. So welcome to all of you. Glad you're here. I want to start you by thinking about your day. Think about the day. And what I'd like you to do is just take a piece of paper. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Take a piece of paper and make a list of the most important 8 things that you need to accomplish every day. Not just work, but 8 most important things that you need to accomplish. So see if you can do that. In the meantime, I'll provide a brief introduction of Yolanda and me. You all know me pretty well. I'm the president of Guest Service Solutions, in the business of advancing the art of hospitality now for over 100 different organizations. I've been a service standards designer for 20 years. I've been a mystery shopper for a very long time as well. My focus has always been in the hospitality industry. I cannot imagine myself doing anything else. I fell in love with training and development of staff pretty early in my career, and that's probably one of the reasons why I felt like Guest Service Solutions really needed to exist. So I'm grateful to all of you and honor you for allowing us the opportunity to serve you. Yolanda Martinez, our performance solutions coach now. She has already earned her 1-year anniversary, which I cannot believe. So she's been with us now for quite some time. She's our mystery shopping inspector, also our virtual solutions coordinator. So you hear from her quite often. And she also is one of our coaches for the reservation sales performance. So if you haven't yet connected with her at some point over the past year, you will be very soon. She has a breadth of experience and she is truly a light and she helps to keep me straight. So she's a gift to all of us. So thank you.
Well, toot. I like that.
Toot. So tell me, what have you come up with so far? What's on your list of 8 most important things? Just shout out a few.
Get the kids to places they need to go.
The adult shuttle bus. Got it. What else?
Shower.
Get dinner ready.
Shower. Okay, good. Get dinner ready. What else? What else?
Exercise.
Exercise. Okay, perfect. Exercise. What else?
Check in with staff.
Okay. Check in with staff. I'm writing these down. Give me 3 more.
Learn something new.
Learn something new. 2 more.
I have most of those things, but one of them is also relax because I need some relaxed time at the end of the day.
I feel like I hop from one thing to another, and I never make time to relax. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Give me 1 more.
Talk to my spouse.
Oh.
Maybe something other than about the shuttling the kids. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So these are all very, very awesome things, and most of them are personal. So maybe you've seen this at some point in your past or you've heard of this, but I want to think about this with you. So let's pretend that this jar is the day, right? It's finite. There's only so much that you can fill into this jar. In this jar, we have a couple of different things that we could put in. We have things like big rocks. We have small gravel, kind of pea gravel. We have sand. We have water. Okay. So I would say that these 8 most important things that you need to accomplish every day, these are the big rocks in your life. So things that pertain to relationships, your health, as well as your relationships, health, and family, right? So I'm going to put these 8 big rocks in the bottom here. Because I think these are probably the big things. So what do you think the gravel really represents? These smaller things. What are some of the things that this gravel could represent in your day-to-day life?
Just small individual tasks.
Individual tasks. So like the checklist stuff, right?
Grocery shopping.
Grocery shopping. Okay, what else? It could be,
Laundry.
laundry, writing something new on the whiteboard. It can be having that meeting with somebody. It can be printing off something. It could be making sure that the calls, the reservation sales calls are being answered in a timely manner and that we're doing the best that we can. So those are kind of the second biggest thing. So already now we have our jar with our big rocks that we have to make time for every day. And this is not full. But I can add some of this gravel, and these are all the little tasks, right? All the little tasks. Adding more and more and more. Okay, is this full?
Almost.
Does that look full?
Nope.
Yeah? No?
Can't see it very well, but it doesn't look full.
Okay, yeah, not totally full. I'm going to pack in this day. And then we have the minutia. Playing around on Facebook. We have the let's play Candy Crush, the maybe just kind of messing around, brain drain sort of stuff, shopping around online on Amazon, little things that we do to fill up our time. And that's kind of represented by this sand. So I'm going to put some of this sand in here. Depending on who you are, you might have more sand than other people. I know I don't have a lot of time for the sand. Okay. Is that full?
Wow.
Now it's full.
Now it's full. Now it's full. So the idea here is that if you don't make time for the big rocks, then you aren't going to have time for anything else. And if we put in the gravel and we put in the sand first, we put in the tasks, the checklist, and we put in the making time for Facebook and making time to, call your mom and talk about that spaghetti sauce recipe. If we make those the priorities, then we don't have time for a lot of the other big stuff. Now, a couple of you said that checking in with staff and learning something new are some of your big rocks. But some of you can honestly admit that it's not one of your big rocks. So I like to particularly see that training, and in and of itself, I think it addresses a lot of big things in my life personally. Training does help me on a personal level because it is about relationships for me. The stronger my relationships are at work, and the more I make time for those big things like training, then the more time I have later on for some of the other things that I need to do. Because I have people behind me that trust me, and I have people who know that I have their best interests at heart as well. So the relationships that I make at work, because of the fact that I train and I develop and I coach and I mentor, are ones that matter to me. If I saved training until later and said, well, I can never get to it. I know it's important, but I never get to it. There's no room. There's never going to be room. So it has to be one of your big rocks every day. And if it isn't one of your big rocks every day, I want to give you some tools and some things that you can use today to make it some of your big rocks so that you're able to actually accomplish more, so that we know exactly where to begin to make sure that our staff is developed and that we're creating the level of engagement that we want from our teams every day. So today I'm going to give you 8 ways that you can recognize your staff. I'd love it if you have some more that you would like to share, because the more recognized our staff is, the more productive they are. The more recognized our staff is, the higher the likelihood is that they're going to contribute great ideas as well that work. We'll talk about how to make time for what matters and learn 2 daily coaching models that are going to help you to make time for what matters. And I'm going to ask you to share some of your best practices for successful training during the busy season. So let me start with recognition in and of itself. What are some of the things that you all do to recognize your teams? Give me, if you could, either text chat or shout out a couple of examples that you all use.
I think just going in and having conversations in the morning. How are you doing? What's going on at home? What are you working on today? What do you need help with?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, if someone's got something going on at home that could affect their work that day. And so I think that's an important thing as a leader.
Yeah, thank you for that. Sometimes we don't think that making that kind of time is a form of recognition, and it's quite the opposite. It really is a form. Give me another one.
Got some text chat ones here. David Smollett said positive feedback and shout outs.
Yes. And not just the good job, buddy. You're awesome. I love you so much. That's not the recognition that people really value. So giving some meat and some value to it. So I'll give you some tips for giving coaching that really counts. Any other ones, Yolanda?
Thanks for bringing the coffee creamer. That is definitely an acknowledgement, David. One thing that I like that you always do with me is when you really appreciate something, you actually say the words thank you instead of just, well, she knows I'm grateful. You always tell me you appreciate that.
See, I don't, and I am always surprised to hear that people don't even think that matters, or that they forget that matters. So thank you for telling me that. I'll keep doing it. How's that?
Okay, good.
So here are some ways to reward and acknowledge. One of the upcoming fix videos that we're working on editing right now is going to give you 20 different ways that you can recognize people. So I'm giving you kind of a little sampler of that. But I think these are some great ways that you can make sure that you're keeping that culture of recognition and engagement going on a regular basis. That way, when you do make time during a busy season and you make that one of your rocks, people are willing to be open to the conversation. They're willing to be open to the training. They know it's for them and not just because you have to. So thank you notes go a very long way. Handwritten thank you notes. Yes, emails are great, but I'll tell you what, these go a much farther way. This one, I just got this a couple of weeks ago from an attendee of one of my workshops that I did in Breckenridge. And all he did, it was construction paper, and he printed out a picture of something that he saw in Breckenridge, and he did a handwritten note for me. So I just thought this was so thoughtful and cute because he didn't spend a bunch of money. It was clearly thoughtful, and he took the time to do this. And this is something I'll probably keep for the rest of my life. So I wanted to just share this with you so that you see how really simple it truly can be, but how powerful it is. Letters from guests. I have saved letters from my career, and some of these are decades old, but they're actual letters from guests, from comment cards, that these to me are worth more than gold. because they give me sort of that external validation of things that I have done in my career that truly mattered, that people saw. And it's funny because I sometimes I don't even know why I keep them, but I cannot bear to throw them away because I finally did realize that that's just worth more to me anyway. A thank you book. This was a great idea, and this is mine actually, my personal one, but you can see that it has signatures all over it. So, if somebody does a great job, or if somebody is leaving, or somebody is making a change or promoted from within, what a great way to show some recognition for that person. And it doesn't have to be anything super expensive. It's just the idea that they took the time to circulate this and get signatures. I think this one has about 80 signatures in it, which was really cool. Plaques go a long way. So if you give them out for anything, great. If you don't, consider what you could give them out for. That's especially important for your back of house staff. So reservation sales staff, dishwashers, maintenance, housekeeping. Otherwise, they seldom get the recognition that they deserve. So if you're really struggling for a way that you can recognize and acknowledge them, come up perhaps with a way. This was kind of interesting, and this was given to me by the director of training and culture development at Breckenridge Grand Vacations. Look how simple it is, right? It's, I don't know, probably cost a quarter. But this is called, and this is mine, it's called the Wabis Cup. We are the best in service. These things are amazing for people that work there. They covet these. So even though it looks simple and silly, it's something that just signifies something quite meaningful, which you could do. Gift cards, coupons, and then of course, Gardner, like you said, your time. So there's 8 right there off the bat, which I think help you to make training for busy times, because it already creates the culture of recognition. It's already part of what you do. Here's a technique that you can use on a regular basis as well. And this is kind of like what you're already doing, Gardner, but it's giving it some meaning as well. Maybe even taking it in a different direction or spicing it up in a way that you want to spice it up. But it's a 1-minute training technique. And it's really to get the temperature of that staff member and to find out how you can support that person today. So it's 3 questions. So I might do this, let's say, with Yolanda. Hey, Yolanda, how are you today? And Yolanda, you're going to say?
Good.
Good. So tell me more. What's going on? Just good or great?
Well, actually, I have plans tonight. I'm getting together with some friends after work that I haven't seen in a while. And so I'm excited for today. I kind of woke up in a good mood. So it's going to be a good day.
Good. All right. I'm glad to hear that. So what's kind of on the slab for you today? What are some of your goals tonight while you're on the floor in the restaurant? I'm just making up something, or this afternoon on the floor.
Well, I'm trying to up my wine sales today so that I actually have money to go out later tonight.
Cool.
So
okay, I can help you with that.
Service would be great, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Do you have any reservations on the books that you already know about?
I have some people coming in. They come in every year for vacation, and I have another anniversary couple that I've served a couple of times. So.
All right, perfect. So what I might suggest is let's kick off that anniversary couple with a glass of sparkling wine each, our compliments. And I think that'll be a nice segue into a sale of a wine that accompanies their first and second courses. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah, great idea.
Okay, perfect. So let me know after you've dropped those glasses, and then I'll come over and introduce myself and help them walk through the wine list.
Awesome, thanks.
Okay. Is there any other way I can support you today?
I don't know. I'll let you know.
All right, I'm here. Good luck. I hope it goes well tonight.
Thanks.
So that took me 2 minutes. And to Yolanda, that makes all the difference, because I'm showing her that I'm paying attention to you. I'm supporting you. I want to make sure that you get what you need today. And this is a form of training, because I can talk her through a technique or a tip or an idea or refresh something with her that otherwise maybe I wouldn't have time for. So this kind of does double duty in my mind. Who else does something similar to this? Does anyone else here? No comment. That's okay. But do let me know if you have a twist on this or if you have some suggestions to improve this. I think, to me, this is one of the best ways to kind of squeeze training in every day, because you make it about a touch to each person every day. Second way. Oh, please.
David put something in the comments. I agree.
Probably not as often as they should. Yeah, and sometimes I think we struggle with making it meaningful. So if we can make it meaningful, then we increase the likelihood that people are willing to participate. You know, we always have that staff member that's like, oh God, David's coming. What does he need now? And if we're creating a culture where you're saying, expect me to pass by your desk every day, expect me to have a seat every day, and expect me to take 2 minutes to check in with you. That's my job. That's what I need to do for you. As soon as you declare it, it increases the likelihood that it's going to happen. So make time for that big rock and make that the start of your day. Another great way to do this is to create a meeting that doesn't suck. And I mean like a weekly meeting, or even if it's a daily meeting. So it has to have elements of it that people want to tune into. And it's not just the day-to-day stuff. Sure, you need to talk about cover counts, and you need to talk about the groups that are in-house, and you need to make sure that everyone's in uniform and looking good before they get on the floor. But some other things that perhaps don't typically get talked about during a meeting. So I'm talking maybe pre-shift or a weekly meeting if you're struggling to try to make time for a daily meeting. What are some magic moments in the making? What are some surprise and delight moments that you're up to? Is it giving those glasses of wine or glasses of sparkling wine to the anniversary couple? If it is, let's walk through how that's going to happen. It's a group training that's happening in the moment that's inspiring other people. So even if I'm talking to Steve, the server, and Yolanda's telling us about has already had this situation come up in her anniversary thing, Steve is going, maybe I could do that too. And then we start creating a better service culture. A tip of the day. So remember, everybody, your tip of the day is pretty much built in for you, because we do have our resources available to you. Those fixed videos that we send out every week, this could be your tip of the day or tip of the week. Share those with your staff. Don't go through the brain drain of, let's talk about using the guest name like we do every first week of the month. Mix it up. People stop listening, and it doesn't become training anymore if it's the same old thing all the time. Maybe you can tell a story about a time when over the past day or over the past week, something really cool happened. I caught Amy Davis introducing herself to some homeowners, and I didn't even take the time to introduce her, but boy, she really just knocked it out of the ballpark. So Amy, thank you for being brave and taking that first step and just showing what we're all about. I think that really made a difference for those new homeowners. Of course, if there's any departmental or policy changes, any guest satisfaction research results you want to share, any scores that are increasing or decreasing, any comment cards that you've received, praise coaching, call out somebody for doing something well. So I want to congratulate Bob because he had the best wine sales yesterday. Or I listened to Helen yesterday. She was able to convert a $25,000 reservation, and it was just magical. And here's some of the things that she did. Last but not least, everybody tunes in for who's the hero of the day. Everybody wants to know who's your hero of the day. And believe it or not, that's a training opportunity. So you notice how the example that we're sharing here with you for a weekly meeting or a daily meeting that doesn't suck has a whole lot of calling out behaviors, praise coaching, acknowledgement, recognition. This becomes training for people because they learn through stories. So I wanted to give you at least these 2 tips, the 1 moment please, as well as a format for weekly meetings that don't suck. And Yolanda will send these over to you in a takeaway handout. I welcome you to pre-fill this format for a weekly meeting and send it over to me. I would be more than happy to help you kind of tweak it and make sure that things fit in the right spot. So that way, when you actually share it, you're feeling really good about it. So I think when it comes to keys to coaching, the last thing I wanted to remind you all of is that it's hard sometimes for us to make time for coaching and training because we don't feel like it's long enough, or we feel like people aren't listening. And I want to give you the keys that are really going to make sure that it's impactful and that this rock is at the bottom of your glass. Respect what you expect. Of course, we know to lead by example. Be curious. Ask a lot of questions during your training. So that way it sticks in their heads and they process the information. Share what you see. Your staff wants to know your opinion about how they're doing. They want your feedback. They want you to honestly tell them what they need to be doing differently. So don't just say, I think you did a good job. Tell them why you thought they did a good job. What was it that they did that you thought was particularly notable? Create accountability. So build into that how you're going to make sure this person is responsible for it. So I'm going to check in with you at the end of the day. You and I are going to have a conversation about this again on Thursday. So I want you to be prepared with this, that, and the other thing. Whatever it is, make sure that that's part of your coaching. State the desired actions that you have for that person. So here, step 1, step 2, step 3, just do a little bit of a review with them. And when you take that time, I think it increases the likelihood that it's going to stick. So when you coach, if it's not during the 1 moment please, or it's not during the weekly meeting, it's just a one-on-one time, this is another way to make time for it by making sure that you're focusing on the right things during that. So in summary, I think this was a great quote that Yolanda found. If you can do something great in 60 seconds, you can do anything, really. So hopefully you've come up with some ideas and maybe some inspiration for how you can make room for training during that busy season when staff is all over the place. Lots of people are on vacation. You have tournaments coming up and concerts going on and all these different things happening, but you still make time for that rock at the bottom. Now, before we conclude, I wanted to offer an opportunity for any of you to ask questions or to share maybe some observations or best practices that you use that you particularly like. Does anyone have anything in particular that they would like to share or tell us about?
Hi, Erica. It's Amy.
Hi, Amy.
I would say from like a connecting with the team on a weekly meeting basis and going back to your schedule of things.
Yes.
I always like to make the point of talking about with the team what is the leadership or what is the company objective that we're currently working on, so that then they can see the big picture goals or the big picture, like where we're heading, because it's really good sometimes that, my staff, and especially here at Moving Mountains, might not always have the connectivity to Robin. So just making sure that they understand what he's thinking about, where he wants to take the company, and what his expectations of us are.
I appreciate your saying that, and I can see so many practical applications for this. I mean, we know that whenever we're tying it into the bigger idea, there's a sense of purpose, a heightened sense of purpose that occurs, and therefore creates more engagement. So training doesn't become an extra thing, it's an integrated thing. Thank you. Who else has something to share? Ways that you make time for training during the busy season. Or I can flip this around too and say, how many of you or who of you still feel like, you know what, I still feel like I'm going to struggle? Be honest.
Well, I struggle every day, Erica. We know this. So.
It is a lot. Training is a rock, though. And if it is on your top 8, then you're doing pretty well. If it's not in your top 8, maybe you just go through the exercise of just looking at your daily calendar and saying, "Hey, I need to put this in as a rock today. So where is that rock going to go?" So that would be my first start. If you don't plan for it, it doesn't happen. And again, the way I feel about it is relationships, health, and family. Those are where your big rocks come from. And the biggest one that crosses over is having strong relationships with people. So join us next month. Free yourself from negativity with positive feedback. So how do we coach in a positive way that gives the right message to your staff members so it truly does affect change and you're not sounding like a broken record? And as always, if you need more detail on future calendar of events, we would be more than happy to share that with you. Please review this recording in the future, and you can review this entire event at another time and have this calendar again available to you. Thanks everybody for participating today. We're grateful for your time. If you have any questions or concerns or you want to explore something further with us, we always welcome it. Have a great day.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you.
Yolanda.
You guys.